Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to today's Finance 360-degree session. In today's session, we are going to discuss a very important article. We are going to discuss a very important finance current affair that is also released by the Reserve Bank of India. So here we are going to discuss the regulatory sandbox, the framework for the regulatory sandbox and the theme neutral applications they are allowed on tap facility. So what is this on tap facility? That is also what we are going to discuss in today's session. So today's news article is very important from the descriptive point of view and from the objective point of view for your RBI examination, for the NABARD examination also, because here we are going to discuss about the regulatory sandbox and we are going to discuss about the theme neutral applications. Okay, so let's get started. But before that, do subscribe to the YouTube channel of EduTap and do join the Telegram channel for the PDF of the session, and the link for the Telegram channel will be provided in the description box below. Okay, and usually the PDF is uploaded within 24 hours. Okay, so now let's start with today's session, that is the regulatory sandbox, the theme neutral on tap application facility. This is what we have to focus on. This is what we are going to discuss today. So first of all, give me a thumbs up if everything is fine, if I am clearly audible and visible. So now, as announced in the Statement on Developmental and Regulatory Policy document on April 9, 2025. So as you know that with the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, there is the release of monetary policy statement in the RBI website in the press releases. Okay, with the monetary policy statement, there is also the release of the Statement on Developmental and Regulatory Policy document. Okay, so with the monetary policy statement, there is the release of the statement on developmental and regulatory policy document. Okay, so this is also released with the monetary policy statement, and in this statement it was said that it has been decided by the RBI, it has been decided by the Monetary Policy Committee to allow the theme neutral applications as a part of the on tap facility under the regulatory framework. So first of all, what is this regulatory framework of the regulatory sandbox? So that we have to discuss that what is this regulatory sandbox, what is the regulatory framework for the sandbox, and what is this theme neutral and on tap facility. All of this we will discuss, and then we will come back to this point that what the Statement on Developmental and Regulatory Policy document has recently said. Okay, so let's get started with the background, with the understanding of the regulatory framework for the regulatory sandbox. So Reserve Bank of India set up an inter-regulatory working group. Inter-regulatory working group means that in this working group there were members from the different regulatory domains. Okay, from the SEBI, from the IRDI, from the PFRDA, from the RBI. So from different regulators there were the members in this working group. So that's why it is a inter-regulatory working group consisting of members from different regulators. Okay, so RBI set up an inter-regulatory working group in July 2016 under the chairmanship of Shri Sudarshan Sen, who was a executive director at that time of RBI, to look into and report on the granular aspect of the fintech. About the fintech, they had to report, they had to tell that what is the implication of fintech, how the fintech can be utilized, and what should be the regulatory framework like that can help in the fintech domain. Okay, so the working group also had to review the regulatory framework in terms of the fintech domain. Okay, so this was the working group that was established in 2016 under the chairmanship of Shri Sudarshan Sen, that was the executive director at that time in RBI. Now the report of the working group, this was released on February 8, 2018 for public comments. One of the key and the main recommendations of the working group was to introduce an appropriate framework for a regulatory sandbox, and that's why in around 2019, the RBI released the enabling framework for regulatory sandbox, where the definition of the regulatory sandbox has been provided and the guidelines for the regulatory sandbox has been provided, that what is the end-to-end process as well as what is the timeline within which the regulatory sandbox has to work. Okay, so on the basis of the recommendation of this working group, the enabling framework for regulatory sandbox, this was released by the Reserve Bank of India in 2019. So what is regulatory sandbox? Now the question comes that what is the regulatory sandbox? So regulatory sandbox, you can see that this is a controlled environment that is provided to the inventors or that is provided to the innovators, and in this controlled environment the innovators, they have to test their product, that if they have a innovative product, if they have innovative service, if they have innovative technology, so how is it going to affect the people, how is it going to help the consumers, what is the negative effect, what are the risks associated with an innovative product, service or technology. Okay, so this regulatory sandbox, it provides a controlled environment for testing, for live testing on a limited set of consumers for the innovative products, for the innovative services, for the innovative technology. The live testing ground is provided under this regulatory sandbox. Okay, so regulatory sandbox, this usually refers to a live testing of new products or services or new technology in a controlled test regulatory environment, for which regulators, they can or they may or they may not permit certain regulatory relaxations for the limited purpose of the testing. Okay, so this is the regulated environment or controlled environment that is provided to the innovators, where they can test their innovative products or innovative services, that this product, how much risk it has, how much benefit it has. So that testing happens over in a controlled environment with a controlled group of customers. Okay, so the testing happens, and the regulator, that is the RBI in this case, it looks that what the innovation is happening, how the testing is happening. So the RBI also looks after this regulatory sandbox, that the process is happening smoothly or not, and which regulations can be relaxed and which regulations should not be relaxed. So this is the idea. Okay, now the enabling framework for regulatory sandbox, let's have a brief discussion on this framework, because if a descriptive question comes on the regulatory sandbox, so you should be able to write a few points, right? So regulatory sandbox may run a few cohorts. Cohorts means end-to-end sandbox process. So cohort actually means the end-to-end sandbox process, from the preliminary rounds through the testing to the final evaluation. So the end-to-end sandbox process, that is known as cohort. So regulatory sandbox may run a few cohorts with a limited number of entities, with a limited number of innovators in each cohort, testing their products during a stipulated time period, during a stipulated given period. Regulatory sandbox shall be based on thematic cohorts. So usually under the regulatory sandbox, there are thematic cohorts. That means the end-to-end sandbox process that is started, that is based on some themes. Like the first cohort that started, that was on the theme retail payments. Okay, so the first cohort, it was on the theme retail payments, that how we can boost, what are the innovative products that can boost the retail payments. So the testing was allowed for those innovative products. Okay, so regulatory sandbox shall be based on thematic cohorts. That means there should be some theme, like the retail payments or the MSME lending or the cross-border payments and such, focusing on financial inclusion, payments and lending or digital KYC, etc. The cohort may also be theme neutral. Theme neutral means that this particular cohort has no particular theme, has no single topic. So there are different domains over which you can bring your innovations for testing. Okay, so this is the theme neutral. So cohort may also be theme neutral, wherein innovative products, services or technologies cutting across various functions in different domains that are under the RBI's regulatory domain can be brought under the testing environment, can be brought under the regulatory sandbox. So theme neutral. So thematic cohorts means that a particular theme is given and only the innovations regarding this particular theme can be tested in the regulatory sandbox in this time period. Theme neutral means that there is no particular theme, there is no particular topic. So if you want to test various innovative products, if you want to test the innovative products of different areas, that you can test, but it should be under the RBI's regulatory domain. Okay, the cohorts may run for varying time periods, okay, but should ordinarily be completed within 9 months. That means more than 9 months, one regulatory process or one cohort will not run for more than 9 months. That is the basic idea. So cohorts may run for varying time periods, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, but should ordinarily be completed within 9 months. It should not be more than 9 months. Starting from the receipt of the complete, like starting from the first step to the last process, the cohort should end or the process should end within 9 months. But remember that the preliminary screening period is not included in this timeline of 9 months. Okay, that we will see that what is this preliminary screening process. So I will tell you briefly the different steps that are involved in the regulatory sandbox. Okay, so target applicants for entry to the regulatory sandbox are the fintech companies, because they are the ones that are involved in the financial technology. They are the ones that can bring, and they want to bring the innovations in the fintech domain, okay, including the startups, banks, financial institutions, any other company or limited liability partnership and partnership firms that have the partnership with the fintech domain, with the fintech service company. Okay, so this is the idea, or with the financial service business. So partnership firms that are partnering with or providing support to financial service businesses subject to sandbox criteria. Now there are some sandbox criteria. That means, let's say there is a fintech company, but it should be fit and proper. Fit and proper means that the fintech company or a company, so fit and proper criteria are given for the selection of participants in the regulatory sandbox. I have only brought the most important points that I could find. So it could be every applicant shall satisfy the following conditions: that it should be a company incorporated and registered in India, or banks that are licensed to operate in India, or limited liability partnership or partnership firm registered in India. Okay, the entity shall have a minimum net worth of rupees 10 lakhs as per its latest audited balance sheet. The entities whose application for participation is rejected under the regulatory sandbox. So let's say you sent an application that I want to test this product, but your application has been rejected by the RBI because RBI thought that the product is not viable, the product is not secure. So the product was not allowed to be tested in the regulatory sandbox. But now you think that, okay, you have improved the product and you want to again take that product for testing in regulatory sandbox. So if you want to take that product again, at least the cooling period of 6 months is required. That means the entity whose application for participation is rejected under the regulatory sandbox will be eligible to apply again with same or similar product, okay, after the completion of mandatory cooling period of 6 months. 6 months cooling period is required so that it can be seen that what improvement you have done. Okay, so cooling period of 6 months is required. A detailed end-to-end sandbox process shall be overseen by the fintech department. So the whole of the regulatory sandbox process, it is overseen by the fintech department of RBI under overall guidance of the interdepartmental group on the regulatory sandbox of RBI. So there is the interdepartmental group on regulatory sandbox of the RBI. Under the guidance of this interdepartmental group, the fintech department oversees the whole of the sandbox process. So this is the basic idea. I hope this is very much clear. Last point is saying that, let's say a product, you have taken this product for the regulatory sandbox, but your application has been rejected, that this product is not viable, this product is not secure, we should not be testing this product because this is not a good product, let's say. So if you want to reapply in the regulatory sandbox, so at least a 6-month cooling off period, that means a 6-month break you will have to take for reapplying to the regulatory sandbox with the same product or similar product. Okay, I hope this is clear, that the entity whose application has been rejected by the Reserve Bank of India, if they want to reapply with the same product or similar product, they need to have a break of 6 months after which they can apply, because once their application has already been rejected. Okay, so target applicants are these are the target applicants that should be applying, and this is the fit and proper criteria that they should be following. And fintech department is the one that will oversee under the overall guidance from the interdepartmental group on the regulatory sandbox. Now coming to the process. So what process? The end-to-end process that we talk about for the sandbox. So what is that end-to-end process? So first is the preliminary screening. First is the preliminary screening, that is review the application and additional information, that first of all fit and proper criteria is being followed by the company. Let's say a fintech company wants to enter the regulatory sandbox for the testing of their innovative product. So the application has to be reviewed, the company has to be reviewed that the company is following the fit and proper criteria or not, or the company is eligible to enter this regulatory sandbox or not. Okay, and the objective of regulatory sandbox is also seen. Let's say we are talking about the first cohort. So in the first cohort, the retail payments was the main theme. So the innovative product should be regarding the retail payments only, because in the thematic cohort a theme has been given, so that is the objective of the regulatory sandbox of that cohort at that time. So the only those applicants should be entering that are bringing the innovative product regarding the retail payments. Okay, duration for the preliminary screening is usually 1 month, but this is not included in the 9-month timeline. As I have told you before that the preliminary screening period, this is not included, this is excluded from the 9-month time period. So this preliminary screening usually takes around 1 month, and this is not included in the 9-month timeline of the cohort. Okay, now application assessment. So once the applicant has been accepted that okay, this company is fine, this company is following the fit and proper criteria. So once the applicant has been selected, then the application is seen, that the vetting or the evaluation of the application happens. That evaluation happens that the product is innovative or not. What is the innovation that the applicant is trying to bring? Is it really required for the country? Is it really helpful for the country? What benefits it can bring? So technological aspects are seeing that what are the new technological aspects that are used here. Okay, security is seeing that this product, is it secure? Should we really let this product be tested in our regulatory sandbox or not? Okay, and it is also seen that the regulatory relaxations that are requested. Let's say a company XYZ has said that we need some regulatory relaxations, some regulations has to be relaxed for our product, then only we can test this product. Okay, so the regulatory relaxations, if any, requested by the applicant should be considered on a case-by-case basis. It's not like that you are providing relaxation to a company, so that same relaxation has to be provided to all the entities that are entering the regulatory sandbox in a particular cohort. No, regulatory relaxations, if they are being requested, has to be considered on the case-by-case basis, on the product-by-product or applicant-by-applicant basis, with the regulatory department concerned. Okay, consultation has to happen with the regulatory department that is concerned. It should be seen that actually the regulatory relaxation can be given or not. If it is viable, if it is okay, then the regulatory relaxation can be given. Okay, so first the evaluation of application happens, that what technological aspect, what innovation, what security level is there, and what regulatory relaxations are being requested. After that, the shortlisted applicants, they present their product, service or technology before the interdepartmental group on the regulatory sandbox for shortlisting for testing phase. After they present their product in front of the interdepartmental group, then they are shortlisted for the testing phase. Then the testing phase starts. The fintech department finalize the test design by engagement with the applicants. So the fintech department, they engage with the applicants that okay, this product design you want to test, okay, we can make more improvement in this product design, let's discuss this. And after the engagement, after the discussion, the test design is finalized by the fintech department. The fintech department also set the metrics for evaluation. The outcome metrics are selected that okay, we want that it should reach to the rural areas, because the product wants to reach to far off areas. So we think that this should be tested in the rural area, and it should be seen that how viable it is in the rural area, how helpful it is in the rural area. So some outcome metrics, they are set for evaluation. Shortlisted entities, they integrate with their partners and they get ready for the testing phase. So in the test design and integration phase, what is happening, that the finalization of the test design is happening, the preparation is happening for the testing, the preparation start for the testing, and the entities, they integrate with their partners if there are any partners. The shortlisted entities, they integrate with their partners and they get ready for the testing phase. After that, there is the testing phase where the entities, they start testing and they report the test results on fortnightly basis. Okay, close monitoring is done by the fintech department. So this is the testing phase happens in a controlled real-time test environment. So the controlled real-time testing is provided. Okay, evaluation phase. So the last part is, or the last step is that the results are evaluated quantitatively and qualitatively, that how beneficial they are for the rural areas, or how beneficial they are for the people, how far off it can reach, and so and so. So there are different quantitative and the qualitative aspect where the evaluation happens, where the results are being accessed and the viability decision is taken that this product is actually viable. At a low cost, will we be able to release this product or not? At a good cost, will we be able to release this or not? Is this really useful? Okay. So final outcome of the testing shall be confirmed by the RBI. So this is the idea. Okay. Now duration, application assessment and shortlisting usually takes up to 1.5 months. The test design and integration should take up to only 1.5 months. Testing phase should or can take up to 5 months, and evaluation phase can only take up to 1 month. So this is the idea. Now see, if a company, let's say you have a company, you like Paytm. You have a company like Paytm. Now Paytm, would it not want to continue innovating and continue bringing new products? Like Paytm has recently, if I remember correctly, Paytm has recently, like the metro, in the metro you have to take tokens, right? So Paytm has like integrated a process in which through Paytm you can get the token for metro. So Paytm is continuously innovating, it is continuously bringing new things so that the Paytm remains viable and useful for you, so that the customers keep on connecting with Paytm and downloading the Paytm and using the Paytm, right? So a company, that's why this regulatory sandbox is only for the companies. It is for fintech companies or for the banks, financial institutions and such, because the companies, they want to continuously innovate. Now where they can test, it's not like that without the permission of RBI they can release a new innovative product. What if it is very harmful? What if it takes the information of the people and just releases the data? So that is not viable, right? The RBI regulations have to be followed. So if the Paytm has to innovate and has, like, it is innovating, it is bringing a new product where it can test it in a controlled environment under the RBI regulation, it can test it, and the RBI is providing the domain for testing, RBI is providing the area for testing, RBI is providing the fintech department where the consultation can happen, that Paytm product can be improved with the consultation of the fintech department, that okay, you can improve it further. The domain experts the Paytm can get with the help of RBI, and the whole process and the testing can happen even with regulatory relaxations. So regulatory sandbox, it is a very, very important testing environment that is provided to the innovators, to the companies to test their product. Vetting application means evaluating the applications. Evaluating the applications means this: evaluating innovation, the technological aspect of the product, the security of the product, and the regulatory relaxations that are requested in the application. Okay, so vetting the application means evaluating the application, evaluating these. Got it? Now coming to the next point, coming to the news article now. So we have discussed about the regulatory framework, we have discussed about the regulatory sandbox, the end-to-end process. So the preliminary screening is not included in the 9 months, but the other process should complete within 9 months. Okay. Now the Reserve Bank of India has been operating the regulatory sandbox framework since 2019. I have told you that the regulatory sandbox framework, this was introduced in 2019, and the first cohort, that was the retail payments, the first thematic cohort, also released in 2019. Okay, as part of which 4 thematic cohorts have been announced and completed till date. So since 2019, 4 thematic cohorts have been announced and have been completed till now. I will show you it in the next slides, that what were the thematic cohorts, how many entities were selected for the testing, how many entities have passed the testing, and they have got the permission to continue with their product. Okay. So based on the experience gained and feedback received from stakeholders, an on-tap application facility for themes of closed cohorts was announced in October 2021. So in October 2021, it was said, see, in 2019, just try to think about it. In 2019, there was a thematic cohort that was announced, okay? And the thematic cohort can only run for up to 9 months, okay? So within 9 months, the thematic cohort has to close down. The process has to close down, okay? And this thematic, the first cohort, was for the retail payments. Now, do you think that only in this 2019 or only in the 9 months all the innovations have happened, all the testing has happened? Should we not continue the testing in the retail payment domain? Should we not continue the innovations in the retail payment domain? Or should we continue with the technologies that were innovated in 2019, that were brought in 2019? We should continue innovations, right? So it was said in 2021, It should said in 2021 that we want to continue the innovations in the retail payments, in the MSME lending. We want to continue the innovation in the cross-border payments and such. So if you want to continue the innovations, so it was said that on-tap application is being brought. On-tap application. So try to understand that on-tap application in order to ensure the continuous innovation in closed themes. So in 2019, you can understand that the first thematic cohort was opened for testing, and by 2020 it must have closed for the retail payments. But in order to ensure the continuous innovation in the closed themes, the regulatory sandbox now can accept on-tap application for otherwise closed themes. So on-tap application refers to the mechanism. This allows continuous submission and testing of the innovations even after the official regulatory sandbox cohort have closed. So in 2020, the first cohort closed on the retail payments, but now on-tap application. That means, let's say I have, let's say a company, I have a fintech company, let's say, and I want to do some innovation, and I have made an innovative product and I want to test it. So I can send the application to the RBI at whatever time, and the testing can start at whatever time. So this is the on-tap application, that once a cohort has finished, once a cohort has closed. So on those closed cohorts, on those closed themes also, the on-tap application is allowed now, so that the continuous innovation can continue. Okay, so based on the experience that was gained and the feedback that was received from the stakeholders, an on-tap application facility for the themes of closed cohorts was announced in October 2021, that on the closed themes the continuous innovation should happen, and for that this was allowed. The on-tap application was allowed. That on-tap application means continuous submission and testing of the innovation even after the official regulatory sandbox cohorts have closed. Okay, but remember this, that the details of the themes that are open for on-tap application shall be communicated through the RBI on the RBI website, and all the terms and conditions for participation in on-tap facility will be same as those applicable under the regulatory sandbox. That means if in the regulatory sandbox the end-to-end process is this, so for the on-tap application also the end-to-end process should be this, and the applicants that are coming through the on-tap application facility, they also have to follow the timeline, that it's within 9 months they have to finish their testing, and only 5 months will be given, up to 5 months will be given for their testing phase. So the same process will be followed. Okay, so this is the idea. Now a fifth fifth cohort that was theme neutral with a specified time window for receiving applications was also announced in October 2023, which is expected to conclude in May 2025. So by May 2025 it will be concluded. It was announced in October 2023. It started on later on period, and then it is expected that it will conclude in May 2025. Under this cohort, shortlisted entities were eligible to test any innovative product because it is theme neutral. So any innovative product, any innovative solution can be tested for any of the theme, for any of the topic that is within the regulatory ambit of RBI. So these are the themes. The first cohort was on the theme of retail payments. Applications received were 32, shortlisted for testing were 6, and successfully exited. That means 6 innovative products that entered the testing phase, they also successfully exited as their products were viable. Okay, cross-border payments, then the cross-border payments were, this was the theme that was started and the cohort started. So 27 applications were received, shortlisted for testing 8 innovative products or services were shortlisted for testing. Only 4 were able to successfully exit. The rest were closed down as those products were not good or services were not good. MSME lending, for this 22 applications were received, 8 were shortlisted for testing, only 5 could successfully exit. For prevention and mitigation of financial frauds, 9 applications were received, shortlisted for testing 6, and 3 successfully exited. Now theme neutral, this applications received were 22, shortlisted were 5, and testing is still on. That is expected that it will conclude in May 2025. Okay, so try to understand that once the cohort or once the theme is announced, after that the applications are taken, and after that the preliminary round starts, the preliminary screening starts. Till this time it is not a part of 9-month timeline. Okay, once the preliminary screening is concluded, it is finished, after that actually the process actually the timeline starts. Okay, so theme neutral, this was the 5th cohort that was opened. Now on tap, once the cohorts have been closed, so let's say 5th cohort is ongoing, that means the other cohorts have been closed, so the on tap facility is provided on the closed cohort themes. This is the basic idea. Now the 5th theme, that was the 5th cohort was theme neutral. That means any innovative product can be tested that is within the regulatory ambit of RBI. Okay. Now, as announced in the Statement on Developmental and Regulatory Policy document on April 9, 2025, it has been decided to allow theme-neutral applications as part of on-tap facility under the Regulatory Sandbox. So, it is said that on the theme-neutral, that was the theme of the 5th cohort. So, on this theme-neutral cohort, now there will be the on-tap facility that will be provided. So on the theme neutral, the applications will be accepted as part of on-tap facility. While application containing any technology or theme or any product can be made under this, the following provides an illustrative list of topics for guidance. That means under the regulatory ambit of RBI, under the regulation of RBI, in the theme neutral, on the on-tap basis, that means on the continuous basis, the innovators or the companies, they can continue like sending the application for testing their product, and the theme, there is no particular theme, so on any theme the application can be sent for testing. Okay, let's say you want to test for the factory, or you want to test for the wholesale payments, or you want to test for the let's say you want to test for the different fintech that are coming up, the wallets, the prepaid payment instruments and such. Okay, so on any of the theme, you can see digital financial literacy. So testing can happen for the innovative products that are under the digital finance literacy theme, or digital lending and alternate credit scoring, eKYC and identity verification, emerging technologies such as the AI, ML and such. Financial inclusion, mule account, that means the accounts that are used for the illegal transfer of the money, or that are used for the illegal or the money laundering and such. Open finance, regtech, that means regulatory technology, subtech, that is supervisory technology, and solutions for Divyang, including voice, language-based financial services and grievance redressal, sustainable finance and climate risk mitigation. So you can see that under the theme neutral, there are various themes. These are just the example. There are various themes under which there are various topics on which the innovative products can be allowed for the testing. Okay, so the application, now the application containing any technology or theme can be made under the theme neutral applications under the on-tap facility at any time. Following provides just an illustrative list, just a basic list on topics for the guidance, that on these topics you can provide the application under the theme neutral on-tap. Okay, any confusion here? So entities that are interested may submit their application along with supporting documents of their innovation via email. Applications will be assessed in accordance with the provisions of the enabling framework for regulatory sandbox, and once the application has been assessed, that means it is seen that the applicant is fit and proper and the application, the innovative product is being brought and such. So once the application has been vetted, after that the regulatory sandbox, after that the testing can start in the regulatory sandbox. Now this facility is intended to help in continuous innovation and constructive engagement with the innovators and proactively respond to the evolving fintech scenario. So basically the idea is that as per the Statement on Developmental and Regulatory Policy document, it has been said that the theme neutral is becoming on tap. That means now continuous applications can be accepted by the Reserve Bank of India, by the fintech department on different topics. Because the theme neutral is becoming on tap means that on the different topics the applications can be received. If you want to let's say you have a innovative product in the open finance domain, in the regulatory technology domain, in the supervisory technology domain, in the eKYC domain, you have the innovative product in different domains that are under the RBI. So that can be allowed for testing under the theme neutral cohort under the on tap facility. Okay, so this is the idea. So this is the first question. But before that, any confusion anyone has? Any confusion anyone? So this is the first question. I hope you will be easily able to answer this question. So which of the following statement is or are incorrect in regards to the regulatory sandbox of RBI, that you have to tell. And the second question is regarding what was the theme of the first cohort. So basically the RBI started the operation of the sandbox, and what was the first theme or the theme of first cohort, that you have to tell me. What was your doubt? Yes, because it's not like that very few innovative product is released. That is correct. Testing happens. How many, let's say, how many in your class, how many of the students came first? Only one. How many of the students came in top 5? 5, let's say, if there is any tie, so 6. So in the class of 40, only 5 are coming first. Okay. If let's say for exhibition, if the students have to be selected, only 2 or 3 students will be selected, right? Not the whole class. Why is it so? Because those are the products that are the best. Those are the products that are viable. Those are the products that can be shown to the country. Those are the products that can be brought to the country. So it's not like that we can bring all the, let's say 50 innovations are happening. All will be good. No. Only 1 or 2 may be good, or only 5 or only 10 may be good. Okay. Monetary benefits to investors. The basically monetary benefit is testing your product and letting it come in the market, because the fintech companies, they are the companies that are doing the financial technology innovations, and they are bringing the financial technology. So if a product is innovated and that product actually complete the testing, so you can understand that this fintech company will become the first fintech company to bring a new product. So that will help this fintech company to bring a new product, to capture the market and have a monopoly for time being, because only this fintech company have that product. Okay, so that is the monetary benefit for the fintech company, that if your product is viable, if your product, like RBI is providing the testing grounds. Okay, so fintech companies, this is the basic idea of fintech companies now. And testing ground is provided by the RBI, the area, the grounds are provided by the RBI for testing. Okay, the fintech companies, if they don't want to remain in the fintech company, they will stop innovating. You're simply, the Tata are bringing, try to understand, if the Tata group or Tata Motors, if they are bringing a new type of car, so should government benefit them for bringing new car for their profits? No, matlab, doesn't make sense, right? Is it necessary to choose one of the innovation? The RBI is bringing the testing ground for the testing, so that only the good innovation should be continued in the country, and the rest of the innovations that are not viable, that are not secure, that are having risk, that are having some problematic situations, so those innovations should not be brought. So basically only the good ones will be selected and the bad ones will be casted out. Okay, Tata Motors, they don't get any benefit for the new cars from the government, they get benefit from the consumers. Similarly, fintech companies, if they are bringing a new product, if they are bringing a new innovation, that should help the company in gaining the profits. Regulatory sandbox is only of the RBI. The regulatory sandbox, the framework, the whole regulatory sandbox that we talked about, it is of the RBI. Okay, and RBI has been running it since 2019. Okay, so if any policy, any new thing that the government is bringing that is not connected with this, regulatory sandbox is for the fintech companies, banks, financial institutions. So only those are allowed in this regulatory sandbox domain. It has been very specifically told that the fit and proper criteria is given here, that only these are allowed in the regulatory sandbox domain. That is a company incorporated and registered in India, bank licensed to operate in India, limited liability partnership or partnership firms registered in India that are connected with the financial sector domain. So these companies, these are the big companies, they are doing the innovation for their profit. Okay. Okay, so this is it for today. Thank you very much for joining the session. Do give me the right answer of the first. Do give me the right answer of the first and second question, and The schedule of the class is Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday 10 a.m. Okay. So Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday 10 a.m. and do give me the right answer of the homework question and do tell me any queries if you have any. Okay, you can tell any queries in the comment section if you have. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much for joining the session. I hope you enjoyed the session and I hope your queries are cleared. At least start from March, April, whichever month you are in, first start with that month, then you can go back. So let's say you are in April, so you can start with April or you can start with March, and then if you have time, then go back to Feb and previously. Okay, so thank you everyone.